Oh, okay.
Yeah, I want to know what's going on there with the lighting.
Do you want me to bring it back to me?
Yeah, yeah,
Or
and then we're
yeah,
going to come
okay.
back
I'll
to
come
that.
back to me. There we go. All right. Here I am.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to hour nine of the CosmoQuest Hangoutathon. I continue to hang out with my little robot friend over here as we raise funds to support CosmoQuest and our science education, research, and outreach, including gameplay and professional PD and trying to explore other worlds to find the safe places to land and the scientifically interesting places to explore. This hour, I have two folks who were back with me more than 15 years ago as we were um, early explorers of Google Hangouts Live or YouTube Hang. No, it was Google Hangouts Live back then. Um, as we were leveraging it to get live science out to as many people as possible before streaming was really a thing. Joining me are Liam Kennedy and Mike Simons, and we have come so far since we were doing the International Year of Astronomy and you were doing the events there in Mountain View and bringing people together for so many different reasons, and it's a pleasure to see that we're all still here in the space sciences, which has been a dynamic field, and so many of the people that we started with have gone on to completely other fields, but we have made it. So Mike, you're traveling the world inflicting telescopes on anyone who's not moving fast enough. And Liam, you are sitting at home bringing the planet to everybody with a camera on the International Space Station. Wow.
That's me pinching myself there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's kind of
Or
awesome.
pinching myself.
And what we're talking about this hour is how astronomy can be used to get people into STEM careers. And one of the things Mike and I talk about periodically is for the love of yourself, do not pursue a job in astronomy unless you absolutely won't be able to live with yourself if you do anything else in this world. I unfortunately fall into that latter category. Um, if you can find joy in any other career path, you will have an easier time of it. But with astronomy, we can encourage people to look beyond the horizon. Mike, you recently returned from Pakistan. You were in the Ukraine a few months ago. You have literally traveled the world to places where, as you put it earlier, there are dark skies because there's no electricity. How do you
This is
see, yeah,
Yeah. Go ahead.
how do you see astronomy as an enabler for hope and wanting to join in on that STEM bandwagon?
Yeah. Well, there are so many ways. First of all, yeah, I do travel some when I get the chance. Mostly, I'm sitting at home in front of a computer. Liam and I are compatriots in that respect. Occasionally get together at a pub halfway between us or something like that, and we're overdue, Liam.
Hmm.
Um,
Definitely.
but there are so many different ways that astronomy can be used in the places that you mentioned. Well, like Ukraine, this was, and I have to say again a couple of things. One is I'm not actually Johnny Applescope. I don't travel around the world delivering, planting seeds. Well, planting seeds is kind of it, but I don't travel and take telescopes much. Ukraine, I sent telescopes, and then I actually took some more when I decided to make a trip there because there was a documentary filmmaker going along, and he wanted to get video of us handing over telescopes, and so we did that. In Pakistan, it was a space conference. The reason for this all is that astronomy does provide hope and inspiration places like Ukraine. The telescopes was the students' idea, the astronomy students who reached out because their power goes out all the time. So
Yeah.
they end up with dark skies. They said, well, we need telescopes. And I sent them some telescopes that were easy to pick up and rush into a bomb shelter with. Not the normal thing. And we did have to do that some while we were there. Um, but other places like Pakistan, it's introducing STEM, as you said, Pamela, in places where they have great skies, but they don't have electricity, or they're not online, or they don't have science teachers. It's the gateway
Yeah.
to STEM. And I'll also say that your label there in Zoom, which says that you're somebody else. Yesterday, you made a really good point that you've been getting my name wrong for 17 years since we met.
Yes. I'm terrible.
And today you got it right.
I'm
Today you
trying
got it
really
wrong.
hard.
But it's okay because I get it all the time. So, but it is Simmons. But I answer to worse things. I've been called worse. Yeah.
And like in my head, I periodically try and merge Liam and John Spencer into one human being because it feels like space architecture and camera on the ISS belong together. But no, you're two amazing human beings, and you're not one amazing human being. So brains are dumb sometimes, and my
Oh,
yeah, you
yeah.
suffer.
Mine's never yours much more often. So don't worry about it.
Um, so Liam, tell everyone a little bit about your journey that led to ultimately having a camera on the ISS.
Yeah, it's sort of like how on earth does that work? So I'll start off when we all first got together.
Yeah.
So I used to be president of Orange County Astronomers in California. And that's where Mike and I got together again because he persuaded me to get on he persuaded me. I invited myself to his party over in Iran to visit
Mm.
the country for the transit of Venus. But through all of that, what really came to me in terms of astronomy and that being a gateway to STEM is getting involved in public outreaches for the public to really bring the opportunity to experience astronomy through telescopes, going to schools, and the through line between that and a camera on the space station, there literally is one. It is this. It is through all of that time, so we're talking the early 2000s, that's when the International Space Station was being built and
It
assembled
was, yeah.
in space. And many times there would be opportunities to see the space station passing overhead while we had telescopes out there. And what always struck me was that the public oftentimes knew nothing about what was going on there. They were all inspired by NASA. They were all inspired by astronauts. They were inspired by telescopes looking up at the skies and showing them the things that are real
Yeah.
above their heads, making an abstract version, I would say, of astronomy and science, from books and people telling you stuff to experiencing it. And through all of that realm, I just got hooked on an idea, which was, and I think this is partly what I hear from everything that Mike's been dealing with, is this is a way to bring people together. The
Yeah.
space station's a way to bring people together. And the end result was I created a little device. Here's one right here that is called the ISS Above. That little Raspberry Pi computer tracks the space station, lights up whenever the space station's above. And its purpose is to bring people closer to the human beings who are in space, passing them by multiple times every day, and also show live views from cameras on the space station. They used to be NASA's, used to show NASA's. It still does occasionally. But it was this whole thing of on the space station where astronauts can look at the Earth. They get the inspiration of the overview effect.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make those views available in higher quality than NASA. Sorry, NASA. And in the end, I discovered a pathway to do that. It took me from, what I'm talking about here is the year 2000. I had no idea I'd be doing this now. But, when I fervently got involved in a promise to upgrade the cameras was in 2016. And now I'm Space TV director for a company called Sen, because they're the company that I really melded with as far as what they were about. And we now have the first ever 4K ultra high definition camera system on the space station that's a commercial payload, but we provide those views free to the public. That was a hell of a long introduction, I think. But anyway, we can fill in the gaps, but it is firmly there because of astronomy outreach. It would not be there without that. So that's the through line connection with what's going on here. And I'm so honored to be on here with you all, with you, Pamela and Mike, and just having shared so many years of being in this realm.
It's really amazing. Now, I'm going to distract you both for just a moment. How many toilets do you think there are in space?
Oh, gosh. I should know, right? Of everyone who's here, I should jolly well know.
I see.
How
once
many
in
are
a
on
while,
the Chinese space station? Yeah, they're.
somebody updates that number once in a while. I don't remember what it is.
Yeah.
So.
ChatGPT, tell me how many. So, are there 2 on the Chinese space station? Oh, no. Well,
Yes.
We'll go with 2. We'll go with
Yes.
2 there, and then on the ISS, there used to only be 2. But the Dragon now has another one. I think there's a third. There's another one on the Russian segment when the MLM docked. So I think there might be one. There may be 4 on the ISS.
Yes.
Yeah, have I got it right? No.
But you're forgetting the ones on the capsules as well, which they don't use
so
in
that was
orbit.
The Dragon. Yeah, the Dragon has. Yeah. But there's
so
only
not
one.
all the toilets work, and not all the toilets are accessible. So
Right.
currently we are at in less Axiom launches, we are at maximum number of space toilets, which is they turned the toilet number up to 11. And it is 4 on the International Space Station, 1 on the Crew Dragon that is docked, 1 on the Soyuz that is docked, 1 on the Tiangong space station that is docked. Sorry, 2 on the Tiangong space station, and then there's 2 Shenzhou's that are docked. So 2 docked Shenzhou's, 2, 4, 8, 10. Oh, sorry, we had one of the. Did we have a Soyuz come down, or am I missing a count right now?
No, it's about to come down.
Okay, so
well,
there's
there was So which one? Yeah, there's 10 people on the ISS.
Yeah,
because
so
they're currently in handover. They're about to undock 70. Is it 73?
So there's currently
this
2
coming
Soyuz up there, and I only have one of them on this webpage. I have a mistake on my webpage. There are currently 11 space toilets. So 2 Soyuz, 1 Crew Dragon, 2 Shenzhou's docked, and then the 2 on the Chinese station and the 4 on the U.S. space station. And
Do we know how many are working though?
no, well, I mean,
yeah,
Annie Wilson does. I do not. We actually have, as part of our community, a woman who did, there were FOIA requests involved in finding out everything about space toilets. And it was amazing watching her go down this rabbit hole. And the reason is because, let's face it, all of us are socially awkward people now and then because we are nerds. And we have very deep information in different areas. We do things with our life that when people ask that standard dinner party, meet new person, social gathering question of, so what do you do every day? It's not every day that you say, well, I work for a company where I have a camera on the International Space Station. Well, I work on advancing civilization through astronomy for equity. I mean, that's what you actually do, Mike. And I'm over here mapping other worlds with a few thousand of my closest friends to find safe places to land and interesting places to explore. We have weird and amazing lives. And as soon as we say what we do, like if I really don't want to intimidate someone, I'm just like, I'm a podcaster. And so I've found that when things get awkward, I just say, did you know there's whatever the current number of space toilets is? And it really works to cut the ice. And
this does not make you seem normal, Pamela.
it does not, but it makes me
Normal in
seem
my world, Pamela. Normal over here.
I suddenly become safer though, because I'm that kind of a nerd instead of the pompous, arrogant kind of nerd that you see stereotyped on TV so much. So it's okay to be the pet nerd who's just really confusing. Annie, did you hear your name invoked?
Yes, I did.
The space toilet expert has arrived. Here, have a earpiece.
Have an earpiece.
Yeah.
And scrunch down.
Yeah.
Awesome, Ali. Yeah, we're birds of a feather because I and Pamela, I often bring this.
I gave you the only.
I bring
earpiece.
this.
Hold on, I have the
I
other one
bring
right
this
here.
subject into.
I made a mistake. Now I can hear.
Every conversation I can.
No, I
I
can't.
bring in the conversation of pee and poop in space.
Yes!
It's yeah, and I was trying to find a photo of me with the dude that sort of really is responsible for me being free with this. Let me see if I can bring him up. So you know, my first opportunity to get involved at NASA with this context was when I was invited to the one-year mission briefing. And I'm just going to switch my camera over to this. So you all know who this dude is.
Is that Mark or Scott though?
That's Scott.
Okay.
And we were in what's called Chelsea Wine Bar, which is a place just outside Johnson Space Center. And during this meetup, he was drinking wine. He was, sharing about his upcoming one-year mission, and I said, "Well, hey, Scott, you're going up to the space station, while your brother is not. And what is that like for you to be the lord of it all in space while your brother's downstairs?" He said, "Well, there's two things that happen. One of them is he sends me a photo of a toilet, right? Just a toilet on the ground." To remind him what is missing, and the other one is a nice photo of a juicy steak. And I said, "Oh yeah, that would really burn." But Scott said after that, he said, "My comeback is at least my poo turns into shooting stars."
That's amazing. We need to use that.
I promise that is an absolute quote, Scott. If you see this video, hope you don't mind me spilling the beans or the poo on that. My 3-year-old grandson would be thoroughly happy with the fact that Grandpa has has gone and spilled the beans about poo. He now feels permission to speak about astronauts pee and poo all the time. And, it's sort of like rather embarrassing, I think, for the parents, but I'm proud of him. In the meantime, I'll bring it back to me. So that's the context. And it's a great way because, it's like a thing that you snicker about, but boy, is it important if you're a human being in space.
Yeah.
To sort of, that everything works in that department. And especially now that astronaut poo turns into shooting stars when it burns up in the atmosphere and everyone's wishing on it.
So one of the things you brought up that I didn't know was
Oh no!
well,
I keep touching something.
you pushed it into your ear and you invoked the evil iTunes monster that keeps invading.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Okay, we've
Oh, you're
We-
now
Oh,
listening
no.
to music, sort of like.
it got fixed.
Yeah.
So one of the things that Annie figured out was like the Americans were content to poop in baggies.
Oh,
And it was the Soviets that were like, no, toilets.
yay!
Yes. The Soviets from the jump were like, no, we're going to have a proper way to dispose of human waste. And the Americans were like, no, we'll just use bags. We'll
And
just use bags.
and so someone asked us the other day the excellent question of, well, does your space toilet count include the Apollo lunar landers? And I was like, they didn't have toilets. They had a bag situation going on. And then the question became, does that make the moon a litter box?
No.
And the answer was no. I thought I was being punny, but everyone's like, no, we're not going there, Pamela.
No. No. They just wanted to bring back more
No,
rock
it's-
samples.
Isn't it amazing how far space travel has come that we can talk about all the different kinds of toilets? I mean, when I was a kid and the first people were going into space, there was talk of this, but now we were so advanced now with the count and everything else. This is what captures the imagination of the public.
Yes. It's always fun to engage kids with this because, like, everybody understands that you gotta go. And, like, I know that Liam was talking about, oh, yeah, I got my grandkids talking about it. I'm sure their parents love it. My sibling and their spouse embraced the fact that their daughter was constantly like, Tia, how many potties are in space?
Cool. We really are like just birds of a feather here.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So when I recently went home, I got to tell my nibbling, like, hey, because they tried to give off like the really old number from years ago. It was like, oh no, it's 11 now.
Yeah.
And they were like, wait, what? It was like, no, it's 11. This is, I think, the record.
More than the number of people in space, almost.
Yeah, it's really kind of amazing. It is the best toilet to human ratio anywhere, but again, not all of them work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So these are the kinds of things where it's just like you start thinking about all the engineering that goes into the space toilets. You have plumbing, you have vacuum science, you have biological science, you have ergonomics, you have electronics, mechanical engineering, and you can actually teach computer science thanks to there is literally an API that you can use to get various International Space Station
I use it.
telemetry.
Wondering if you were going
ISS
to mention
Mimic.
that particular
Go
API.
ahead, bring it up.
So the one she's talking about is the one that actually is the it measures the fullness of the liquid waste container before it's dumped into the water reclamation system.
Yeah.
So,
So you can see it getting higher.
Yeah.
Yes, you can
In
see it
real
getting
time.
higher
I can bring
when
it
it
up
goes.
on my.
Yeah.
That's right.
And people are like, why are you using all these super professional terms? I'm like, because I got used to not being vulgar while talking about human waste on the
Yeah.
internet.
So there is this open source project called ISS Mimic. It's the
Yeah.
best thing. Just
Yeah.
Google ISS Mimic. So I are very close friends with the creators of that, and one of the things that so it's a full size. Full size. It's not full size. Of course, it's full size. It's a 1/100 scale model of the space station that you can 3D print and put servos in it. And using that same API data, they actually use it to rotate the solar panels in real time with what's on the station. But the other thing you can do is you can configure a little LED to light up when the urine tank is getting bigger. So when it's getting fuller. So technically, it may not precisely relate to someone going for a whiz, but I say it does. So when you see that API, and you can see it go up in real time, it
Yeah.
updates the data. That data point might be every 30 seconds, and then you think, wow, someone's been doing this for a couple of minutes now.
I mean, they are, after all, on the biggest road trip ever. Yeah.
Oh, I pushed the button again.
We have inadvertently invoked
Invoke
Sarah Carpenter. All right, she has been banished.
Okay.
Sabrina. So
anyhow, and just to bring it back to astronomy, the space station's a great platform for astronomy, as Don Pettit was.
yeah.
Was
Oh my goodness.
just such an icon for. But many astronauts do extraordinarily well in astroimaging on the station.
He is
Don
hands
Pettit
down the
was-
best.
yeah,
He's the
he
only one
was-
who's figured out how to track.
Yes, exactly. With his special,
Yeah.
sort of device that compensates for the
Motion.
movement of the station, just at a mere 5 miles per second. Just that. But yeah, so all of that. So there's opportunities everywhere to bring astronomy into this.
But and besides the astrophotography, I asked John Grunsfeld about what it looked like from space visually, without the atmosphere. And he's an astronomer too. And
Yeah.
he said, "Oh yeah, it's a lot better." And he would take his colleagues sometimes to the darkest part of the space station and point out stuff to them. Presumably not using a green laser pointer like we might do on the ground, because it wouldn't work very well in a vacuum. But so that's, I found out something about what I'm missing by not being there.
Yeah, and it looks very different without the atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's so much crisper. There's a series on the NASA YouTube channel called Space to Ground. It's Down to Earth, and it is astronauts sharing their overview experience.
Yeah.
The author of the overview effect, Frank White, was the actually hidden interviewer in many of those interviews with the astronauts. So he was invited by NASA to support the creation of a set of videos where astronauts finally got to really share, their impact of being in space, seeing both astronomically, but also looking at the Earth and how that made them, I would say, better human beings. Maybe that's the wrong thing to do, but sort of like looking at the Earth as in a different way, which is really what astronomy is for me too. I would say that's what is available. When I'm multiple times a week now, I do little mini outreaches outside my house. This is one example of it here. This is just showing, I have a little LED that says, "See Saturn." And then my 8-inch LX90 is out there, and there's a sea star. And more than a few folks in the neighborhood that are walking their dogs, they now get the invitation, and they come up and see Saturn and the moon. And what comes out of that is an opportunity to just really provide access to something that I've discovered. It's still there. It still blows my mind.
Yeah.
Mike, I'm sure you're in the same realm as this, where so many people have never seen Saturn before, and it's still there. And there's still more to do. And so I like to do this right from where I am out to wherever the space station can reach. And that's now, you can watch these live views of the Earth. If I just, there we go. Oh, that is my grandson. There we go. Right. There he is, my grandson.
Oh, excellent.
And my wife there, and I think I've got another one. Here's the dude actually saying something here. He's looking at the moon. You can't hear what he's saying, but he's, and this is just me making it personal. But at the end of the day, that is what it's about to me. Whereas behind the scenes here, this is what I now do as well with live views of the Earth from the International Space Station. And all of this stuff.
So
Anyhow,
cool.
I'll bring myself back on the stage. Well, Ali, we've got to get connected again.
This is Annie.
So, Annie. Oh, it's not. Oh, all right. So
We've been so
Annie.
there's an Amy, an Annie, and an Allie, and it's been a struggle today.
And my wife is Anna.
Yeah. All 2-syllable A names.
Yeah.
Well, it's so.
Pick your
It's
consonant.
obviously. I'm just really excited to spend some time with you, and find someone else who is really into inspiring people by talking about pee and poo.
So we have a 3D printer, and we have a friend, Ms. Britt Kitten. She's a member of our community who's really good with servos and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I see something in our future, and I will be in touch, Liam. This is going to be a thing
Yes.
that happens. And
Well, you should definitely invite the folks who run ISS Mimic.
Yeah.
The one who created it, he's associate chief engineer for Boeing on the ISS program.
oh wow,
And that's Brian Murphy, and then just his whole team, loads of people. They donate their time to sort of do this stuff. They'd be a great guest on a future program.
that would be
As
amazing.
well. So, but they've made it accessible. It's something that
Yeah.
anyone can get into. They have a 1/100 scale model and a 1/200 scale model. So,
That's so
and
cool.
done a lot of work there.
Oh man. So yeah, this is amazing stuff. And this is the kind of stuff where what we're talking about, you start from astronomy and then you find yourself hitting so many different topics, from architecture, interior design, ergonomics for plumbing of toilets is deeply important. Ergonomics in spacecraft is deeply important. You get it wrong, you break somebody's spine. That's a bad thing. Don't do that. And
Yeah,
so
sorry, I pooped hard and broke my spine.
right. I'm
I'm giving up.
pooping hard and triggering like an aneurysm is actually a problem. Sorry, this is the theme of the hour. We're just gonna go with it.
Yeah, that's right. Astronomy. I promise we don't do a lot of this when we're looking up at stars. But anyway, so you come along to any outreach I'm involved in, we usually go that realm anyway.
I mean,
especially if we're
this is
talking
what
about yeah, shooting stars. Have you ever wished on a shooting star? Do you know you may
could be a poop.
wishing on astronaut poo? Which should be, like that's even rarer, because generally that stuff burns up over Point Nemo in when the Soyuz are coming back in. So, but who knows? Eventually, maybe.
I love it.
I like that there is a
absolutely
non-zero chance that people can be wishing on shooting poo.
love it. I'm taking so many notes of things that I'm going to be talking about later.
And I'm now officially embarrassed myself. I think I've gone a little bit red. That this is
No, this is totally like. Do you remember
every
the
now and
movie
again I get present
Goonies?
to Liam. You are the amount of poo per hour that you have referenced. Anyhow.
I mean,
Oh dear. All
we
right,
have-
moving on.
one of my favorite things that I never realized might end up happening in somebody's life studying space science. And this is we started out once upon a time long ago discussing STEM pathways that come from this. I was at a Lunar and Planetary Sciences conference back when it was in Crystal Lake on the south side of Houston. And there was a woman presenting a poster. And I went to Michigan State as an undergrad and dated someone who was doing genetic work and had to go to the slaughter yard to collect genetic samples because the research he was working on, he needed samples that were taken from large numbers of swine, it turned out. And so, the fact that this was something that people did as part of their research I was aware of. The bacon you're eating might have come from an animal that was also used for some sort of research. What I hadn't understood was lunar research was part of that research. This woman was trying to figure out what materials were best to use for astronauts who are traveling to the moon, because moon dust is insidious. It has not been weathered in any way. It is sharp, basically shattered glass dust. It's terrible, terrible. And the Apollo astronauts were only on the moon for days. We're looking to occupy the moon in the future. And living in an environment that smells like gunpowder might be an improvement over the ISS, but that feels like a bad beach trip where you have sand everywhere, but the sand is made of broken glass, is not what anyone wants to experience. And so she was going to a slaughter yard with moon simulant, like stuff that was meant to have the structure and coarseness and sharpness of regolith, and taking the skin of a just slaughtered pig and putting down a layer of the simulant and then rubbing it with fabrics to see which were the most aggravating, to figure out what fabric you use to build space stuff. And the answer was definitely not polyester. Cotton was working out best. And like, on one hand, I think all of us know cotton is what you want to be wearing. But at the same time, someone has to do the research. And that is a STEM career I never knew existed.
Yeah. And yet it's crucial for comfort and literal surviving.
Literal, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Well, and you mentioned earlier, Pamela, about it saying don't go into astronomy as a career, but it's really professional astronomy because there are so many different ways. And I've been at a couple of space conferences lately. The most recent one was in Pakistan. And there are so many different aspects. People come into astronomy from other things. People uh, go off in other directions. From starting with astronomy background. So, and that's one of the reasons we use astronomy to introduce STEM, because it's connected with everything. You know, we're not trying to make, I mean, one project we have will reach a few million students in these out of the way places, and we're not trying to make them into astronomers. But
No, please do not.
yeah, no, it's not going to be helpful to do that, and it's just to inspire them. You know, I
Yeah.
started doing outreach in the '70s, and was running the LA Astronomical Society and working at Griffith Observatory, running the telescope there. It's just probably had more people look through it than any other uh,
Yeah.
in the world,
Yeah.
having been around for almost 100 years now at a major public observatory. And outreach is happening everywhere around the world. And those are the people that I work with now. I don't get to do the outreach myself that often. I'm pretty much always doing programs to support those who are doing it around the world, but it's everywhere.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people go into astronomy, go into sciences because they look through a telescope for the first time. And that's, you know, I've met people like that, and others are encouraged by it. So,
yeah, I know. I was when I first looked through a telescope and saw the rings of Saturn, and saw, I think, M5 globular cluster, and I was like in my early 30s, and I literally had this experience of what I missed for so many years of my life. And I just think, where was I? And I just can't remember one time in the UK where I grew up, where I was ever in the space of a telescope. I never was. And I sort of, I don't know, it wasn't quite rage, but it was like, what? What happened in my life where I never happened across something like this? So that's partly what has driven me ever since that moment. You know, I don't know. yeah, can I say any more than that? I really, I just wanted to be part of the thing that brings this amazing inspiration to more people. And now, Mike, has you've really taken that on in a realm that is far beyond anything that I could see for myself in terms of astronomy outreach. For heaven's sakes, you took me to Iran, and I got that sense of just how shared interest in astronomy is something that can bring people together as well.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, and
mm,
and there are people doing it everywhere. I brought up a little picture here. I can share, can't I? I'm going to.
Yeah, it's going to cause things to go boing, and I'll have to rearrange them. So yes, you can share, but there will be a moment of
a
sorting.
boingness,
There,
technical
Like
yes.
term.
just something funny.
Boing, boing, boing. Yeah, that's why it's probably quite helpful. I can just throw my screen up.
We're set
Yeah,
up to
Webcam,
do
yeah.
webcam.
both. I just need to warn Mike that it won't be instantaneous. I have to switch scenes for it to work.
Yeah.
So go ahead and
Well,
I have to turn on share, don't I?
yeah, you would have to. If it's, I don't have to show this picture if it's a lot of trouble, but it's one from the
You can share.
from okay from the program I led on the of the screen two. Wait a minute, what's going on? Okay, so now it's doing weird things on my end. Why am I seeing?
I mean, it's
Uh,
consistency at least.
Mm.
yeah, so I've never seen this before. What is that?
Are you in dual screen mode, I bet?
Wait, this should. Oh, I know why. Okay. Yeah. So I'm not. I'm just showing. With not the presentation
Hold on,
mode,
I'm
but this
missing a
is.
window.
Well,
Where
it
did it
says I'm
put it?
sharing.
I'm
On the
no, I,
Zine
I'm
side.
there. It is. I found it. Okay.
Okay. And this is what we're talking about. This is from, Pamela, when we talk about the International Year of Astronomy, and we reached in the project I did, we reached millions of people.
Yeah.
And Liam's experience is not unusual in never having looked through a telescope. My daughter says
Yeah.
that she didn't realize until she was growing up that other people hadn't looked through telescopes. It was just a common thing with her all the time. We go to star parties when I was running, that I was doing, and all kinds of different things. But uh, the so this is the reason that they do it, and this is, let me show you a couple pictures. This is the international. This is 100 hours of astronomy, the global star party, and this was a long time ago. So,
Yeah.
but we had probably 1 million people look through telescopes. That was New Zealand, China, UK, Pakistan,
That
uh,
field of telescopes was a little bit astounding.
Yeah.
and that was Baghdad in Bangladesh.
Mm.
I don't remember where that is. And then,
The
oh,
child looks terrified.
yeah. And this is Iran.
Mm.
That's a telescope I took to Iraq 20 years ago. And
That
the
was
same telescope in the Andes.
Bill, or was that
What,
where was
sorry?
that in Iraq? Where was that one in Iraq that you went to?
Well, this one was in Kurdistan in
Kurdistan.
Erbil.
Okay,
Yeah.
Erbil. Yeah, there we go.
And the previous one from Iraq was Baghdad, which I went to later,
Mm.
um, but didn't take any telescopes. That was
Yeah,
under Saddam. It's
yeah.
totally,
You're known as the guy that goes into war zones because.
yeah, stupid places, I
Yeah.
know. And
Hmm.
this is here in California, and this is in Argentina, and Oman, and somewhere in North Africa. I can never remember
Wow.
where it is, in Pakistan, and what they did for
Camel.
it in India, Romania, and this one's from Romania. This one is from Brazil.
Oh,
Everybody wants to share. This is just what amateur astronomers do, but this one is the one that kind of shows why people do it, that wow moment that you give people, and it's super addicting. And I don't get to do that very much anymore because I'm too busy doing these other things. But these are the people that the organizations doing it everywhere around the world. Those are the ones we support and provide things to give them an opportunity to do STEM in places that don't have any science whatsoever, and just to inspire them and all of that. So you can reach millions of people doing it that way, which is more than I ever did myself. So that's why I
And
do it.
this is the thing that we each have to find what we're good at, and there are those who are the organizers that take the ideas global, and there are those who are the boots on the ground, bless the extroverts, bringing things directly to the people. And okay, we switched views. You unshared. Warn me when you unshare. All right, we are back.
Oh, sorry about
We
that.
had
Yeah,
double
I
mics for a
was just
moment.
Cool.
yeah, I
Um,
was just looking at I looked like I've moved to Mars. Something happened to my light. I don't have no idea what it is. I just want to
it's
say I
okay.
don't look quite that bad in person.
So we're going to be joined by one of the folks from Starfront Observatories in 2 hours. IP is joining us, and he's going to be talking about how we can now use robotic telescopes to do star parties, allowing us to do so much while living in light polluted areas. And thank God for software, because it turns out there was a 15-minute exposure of I don't remember if it was Three Eye Atlas or Comet Lemon, but in the 15-minute exposure, there were more than 300 satellites that went through the image. It was overwhelming, and
Yeah.
you can actually just, as you're looking at these things, you zip, 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 just in all different directions, and so technology is giving us access to so much more than ever before, and satellites are taking it away. And software is finding someplace in the middle where we can take longer exposures, use the software, delete the satellites, and it works out. We live in
And
strange
that's something
times.
else that we're using too, remote observing,
Yeah.
where I've had an astronomy club at a university in Benghazi, Libya, and a couple of people from Afghanistan
Yeah.
as part of a program. And you can give them a chance to do real science that they'd never have a chance to do. And none of them were, this was an astronomy club at the university. None of them were astronomy majors. They were
Yeah.
IT and all these other things, but they don't get a chance to do this stuff.
Mhm.
So there's so many tools that we can use now to bring these things to everybody.
So we are running out of time in this session. In the next session, it's going to be myself, Ali, who I'm going to give her back her chair, and Eric is going to be joining us, and we're going to be talking about what we dream of doing with Escape Velocity Space News. And I love hearing my team's dreams and then working with all of you to try and make them come true. As a reminder, this is a fundraiser. We love all of you. We love you more than your money, but I'm going to ask for your money because that's what I do. And I can tell that times are tough this year because, like, nothing's moving. And I get it. I really, really do. And this is why I'm going to be reaching out to businesses and companies and expanding, because we can no longer trust federal grants. The programs just aren't even there anymore. And so we have to make the change we want to see in the world, which means I'm asking for all of your coins, all of them. Enough to at least make a cup of coffee every month. $5 a month is what we're asking for. So if you can give, please join us and let us give you science, a bottomless cup. Thank you, Liam. Thank you, Mike. It's good to get the team back together again so many years and gray hairs later. And I'm sure I will have both of you back this time. Not so many years will pass, Liam. So hang around, everyone. I'm gonna roll those rockets, run those names, and say thank you as I prep for the next session Stay tuned, and we're going to talk to you about our dreams for media here at Escape Velocity Space News, part of CosmoQuest. Bye-bye, everyone.